Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Paleo Talk. This is a special new show that we're kicking off, where we will be discussing news related to paleontology and science. We're just going to jump right into this. So our first news article for the week, published on April 15th, 2019 by Sci News, link in the description to this article, is paleontologists find exquisitely preserved dinosaur skin traces. These skin fossils are from the early Cretaceous epoch in Korea, and looking at them, they're actually very, very well preserved. The tracks are roughly 2 by 2 millimeter areas. The skin is actually very well preserved. I mean, these are very tiny tracks. They're about, oh, here we go. They're about a centimeter long. These footprints are assigned to the ichnogenus Dinosaurus. Oh, they're only an inch long. These are the first tracks ever found where perfect skin impressions cover the entire surface of every track. That comes from University of Colorado, Denver's Professor Martin Lockley. Continuing the quote here. They were made on a very thin layer of fine mud, rather like a coat of fresh paint, only a millimeter thick. When the tiny dinosaur stepped on this firm, sticky surface, the skin texture of the foot was reproduced perfectly without slipping or sliding. So basically, in the same way that all dinosaur footprints are preserved, an animal stepped in a wet substance like mud or silt, and the track was preserved as it baked over. It was then covered with other layers of soil and sediment, and that preserved the skin impressions perfectly. This is extremely rare. Continuing on here. Evidence shows that just before the tracks were made, there had been a rain shower leaving water drop impression. In one place, the dinosaur had stepped on a fresh raindrop mark, proving rain came first and then the dinosaur's step came second. So this must have been like just after a rain shower. All this delicate evidence was preserved by being gently covered with more fine mud, as I said. The skin pattern is similar to examples from much larger carnivorous theropod dinosaur tracks, in which scales are much larger but never preserved across the whole footprint, Professor Lockley and colleagues said. The more distantly related brontosaurs, that would be long-necked sauropod dinosaurs, had scales that left traces 8/10 of an inch to 1.2 inches in diameter. So the delicate, perfectly preserved Dinosaurus skin texture is like a shrunken version of the skin of a much larger relative, with no shrinkage of the skin traces. This research was published in the journal Scientific Report. So this is actually very interesting. These images of these tracks are very good, and they are exquisitely preserved. They're beautiful. And you can actually see some of the water drop in and near the footprint. So that's very interesting. That's very cool. I will link that article down below. Thank you all so much for watching this installment of Paleo News. Tune back in tomorrow, where we will continue.